Well, hey there everybody, Kay here on my homestead, and you haven't seen what's going on outside in quite a while. I am in my sunroom where I've brought all of my cacti, my dragon fruit, citrus, cranberry hibiscus. Look at this. This was something I seeded. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, I rooted it and it bloomed, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted seeds, and there's 7 or 8 seed heads on here, so fingers crossed. The holiday cactus is just about to start blooming over here, but not much to report in here. It's just all very crowded. So I thought, let's go out and see what's going on outside very quickly before the sun starts dropping below the ridge over there. Let's go. Well, it's sunny and the sky's pretty clear. And it was raining yesterday, and it was cloudy the day before, and cold, and it's 61 degrees right now, so I don't even need a jacket. But I have this beautiful scarf. Just wanted to show it to you. This was a gift from my fan, Jamie. Isn't this lovely? Absolutely gorgeous, and obviously she knew my colors. Okay, so you can never have too much firewood. And I've got a lot. If we have a normal winter, and we don't have a power loss, I've got enough for 2 to 3 years. But if we have a power loss, this could go very quickly, so you need to think about that. If you have a wood stove, make sure that you're stocked up with wood that you can burn now. This whole area behind the house was completely overgrown in weeds and hostas, and I've got 2 lilac bushes over there and comfrey growing at the bottom, but I just told Corey to just clear it all off because there are a lot of bad weeds and good weeds, and we're going to just start over. They'll all come back. This is my 1,200 square foot fenced in garden. The fence has some rips and the netting needs to be replaced. It's saggy or ripped or something, and the bamboo trellis fell over, but we seeded it all. It just looks like grass to me. Let's go take a look. I bought a 25-pound bag of cover crop mixture. It had a lot of different things in it, but all I actually see is, I'm not sure what this grass is, but these are the field peas, and this is the vetch. Peas, vetch. I don't recognize anything else, but we'll see in the spring when things bloom, you know. This is my wonderful bean trellis, and it's still in great shape after 4 seasons, but the bamboo trellis is finished. Here's a wide angle of the entire cleared area. This is my cistern, which still leaks, has not been fixed. I had hazelnut bushes over there that I think have died. I had 3 white eastern pines. That's the last one that died. They all 3 died. Don't know why. I've got bushes and fruit trees here with the 5,000 square foot garden down below that. And this up close, we'll get a closer look. The cover crop is coming up. That's the flower garden. The meadow I haven't seeded. I don't know if I will. I've got new fruit trees down there, apple mostly, and that's my vineyard, which needs work. Here are my 3 terraces. They have been cleared, tilled, cover crop, seeded, and hay put down. So we'll see what happens. And then over there, The blueberry bushes always turn bright red in December. Well, in the fall, they turn bright red. They're so pretty, coral. Okay, there's the remaining white eastern pine. The other two have been taken out. That needs to come out. And that huge tree behind, right in there, that's pretty much all dead. A lot of it broke in the tornado that we had. Well, we had straight line winds that went across this property and it hit that tree. And a lot of that tree wound up on the side of the road, had to be cleared. There's my lower burn pile. Love having a burn pile, oh man. And here's the 5,000 square foot garden. I've got 3 fruit trees over there. None of my fruit trees have actually produced any fruit, so there's that. Okay, all of this greenery down by the electric line, those are weeds that have come up, and they don't seem to have any problem with winter. There's purple dead nettle. There's, of course, dock. You can see the big leaves right there. That's dock, curly dock, yellow dock. What else is down there? I do see some pea. That's purple dead nettle right there. And the little stuff is... Actually, I'm not sure what the little stuff is. You know, sometimes you just don't want to know. Chickweed should be growing down here. Some of that's chickweed right in there. Almost the entire thing, except for some of the edges, was tilled and seeded and covered in hay. And the weeds have popped through all of this down here. This is how thick and intense the weeds are. Oh my goodness, look at that. Just incredible. Okay, I haven't been in here a while. Let's go. It's still on. Let's go in. Oh. Okay, I see the peas, I see vetch, I see clover. All of which were in the cover crop. Could have had some rye in there. I'm not sure what the grass is. I hope it's rye and not just weeds. Let's see. I don't remember that bush being there. Maybe it blew over from, yeah, it probably blew over from over there. These are all, this is the loofah graveyard here, except they're not buried. They're just, I pulled them off, you know, they were mushy. They froze before they got finished. At the right end there, that's cardinal climber mixed in with the loofah. Over there under the white is moringa. I do not have my hopes up. I have not properly covered that for a cold winter. Under this white tarp here is my artichoke plant, which, oh my gosh, there's my sledgehammer rusting away. Wow. I was wondering where this was. This is supposed to be on my, it's supposed to be on my four-wheeler at all times. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, that's really rusted. Wow. I need to pick up that too. This area was seeded early. It was cleared early and seeded early with groundhog radish. And it didn't have the mixture that I put everywhere else. But look at this thing. Well, I can't pull it out. It's mushy, but that's a groundhog radish. And what it does is it disturbs, it breaks apart clay soils. So it's really good if you've got a lot of clay to use that as your cover crop. I have no idea what's been down here eating everything. I'm afraid to know. There's holes everywhere. Oh, look! Garlic! Garlic! This is garlic. Got one row here. I went ahead and just put cover crop also. And this is the second row. I've got 2 different things in this row. And then there's another row over here. Doesn't look quite as good. But, you know, it's winter, we'll see. But what are all these holes? Nobody seems to know. You know, there's holes everywhere. And I kind of hate to think what's down there. This was my insectiary where I grew all my zinnias, sunflowers, and other flowers. All of this is purple dead nettle. All of that. I mean, look at that hole. And there's holes straight across. It's almost like in a row. Of course, they're everywhere. What are they? They're not snakes. We've had too cold. It's been too cold. Wow, all these are weeds. So this will all get tilled. Oops. I've got my lights on my, on my wire. Whoops. I guess that wind was stronger than I thought. Okay, so this is pretty much all just weeds, not cover crop. But it's green material, so hopefully if it gets tilled in, it will add. Okay, let's walk through the archway. I haven't had time to take all this plant material off. It all has to come off, obviously. But I thought it might look really pretty if it snowed and it was all covered, you know. But I don't think any of these are any good. That one might be okay. But I don't think the rest of them would be because they were all mushy. Which is why I put them all on the ground. Just imagine how many I would have had if I'd gotten them all in before. Well, they had to finish. I would have harvested them, but they weren't done. Hang in there, artichoke. I just wanted to point out the Leyland cypress came back. They looked so bad after that Arctic blast we had in winter of 22-23. I didn't think they would make it. And then I planted 2 more last February, March after, if you remember my pine trees, I can put the video right up there. The pine trees, 2 big pine trees, they were 40 feet tall, came out of that spot, and I put 2 more in there, and it looks like they're gonna make it. Meanwhile, we dug up a huge canna. I didn't do it, Randy did it. See, I had cannas in between each one of these already. I had 4, and then he dug up a huge canna from my terraces. There's a rock right there, couldn't get one in there. But he put one in there, and there, and there, down there, down there. So hopefully those will come back. That's my elderberry bed. And it's all been trimmed back. But there's some debate on how low you go to trim it. And Randy just didn't, I asked him to trim it all the way back. Ooh, this looks like it's broken. What happened here? Oh, that's the pile of cut stuff. Never mind. But this got so heavy this year that I had to rope it together to keep it from breaking, and the one down there did break, so I thought, let's cut it back to the ground. But he saw life on it, and he said, I can't cut that if it's got sprouts coming out, so I didn't. Those are my 5 new apple trees, and I had Brandy plant the 3 aronia bushes. We moved them from the elderberries and put them in between. And we planted comfrey at the base of each one of those, but that's disappeared. It'll be coming back. But I need to get a fence around that whole thing. Okay, this is the vineyard, so-called. It needs a lot of work. It needs new posts, new wires, it needs to be pruned in January, February. It needs a lot of work. There is chickweed, purple dead nettle, and at least wild geranium growing down at the base. That's what all the green is. I had Corey completely mow the meadow. I'm going to walk the distance of the meadow. You know, it looks pretty bad. It's very dead looking. And I could, you know, if we have another couple of warm days, we could till it and I could put some seeds down. Of course, then it wouldn't be a natural meadow, but mostly what comes up naturally are not particularly desirable, beneficial flowers. Although I did have a lot of that one flower last year. I made a video about that. I'll put that up to the right on that card. Okay, if you have a garden in the south, you have to fence off the deer. It's just, if you want any food, or sunflowers, they'll eat all of those. But you'll never even see your sunflowers bloom if they're not protected. But these are the terraces. And we're closer to the house now, so you think, well, the deer won't come that close, but they do. They'll come right up within a few feet of the house. I see the kitties. There's BJ and Spot in the window. Hi, kitties! Kitties! They're watching the birds, not me. Anyway, this whole area I want fenced. I didn't want to look at a fence. I don't want to look through a fence to see what's inside, but it's either that or you don't get much. So this whole area I plan to have fenced, but I probably will have to, just because of cost, I'll probably have to use T-posts, but I'm going to paint the white on the T-posts so it's just all green and it kind of disappears, you know. I mean, it would be much better if I had a company come in and just do the beautiful black post with the black everything and the doors and gates and all of that. But that's costly, you know. We're up to the raised beds. I had 7 of these 8 raised beds rebuilt last year. The 4 on the left I had reduced from 6 by 8 to 4 by 8 to give me more room to put a fence along the driveway. And on this side there's still 6 by 8s. And one did not get rebuilt. The third one down did not get rebuilt. I'm going to try to get that rebuilt in the next couple of weeks if the weather holds. Right now I just have these covered in cardboard. But I have parsley down here. Let me show you. This parsley looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And of course I need to be using some, drying some, because I don't know if it could possibly make it through the real cold of the winter. And then the other ones I just went ahead and covered. The one down there is my asparagus. And you know, it was just going to rain. It said it was going to rain 4 inches. And I just thought, I don't want 4 inches of water going in there. Look how low the soil is in all of these beds. I need another full truckload just to fill up my raised beds. I didn't realize how electric green this netting was until I started putting it up. But this keeps the deer from eating the strawberries, which they do. These are all perennials I just put in the ground that my friend Jamie gave me. And they've been in their little containers for a long time. And I just said, I've got to get them in the ground, even if I move them later. This is Armeria. Maritime Morning Star, white, and you see one there. But there's a selection of salvia and other things in there, and I just kind of put them all equally, and then I put this on there to keep animals from digging. And they're not going to grow, but they should stay alive because they're perennials. Okay, these two pots have horseradish. My first time growing horseradish, and it needs to be harvested, and I need to put it in my fire cider, so hopefully you'll be seeing that very soon. Everything you see in that bed are weeds. I did have some potatoes growing in there, but the deer ate all the leaves. And it needs to all be cleaned out and prepared like the other ones. That is my blackberry trellis, and they need to be pruned, I guess, in January or February. It's my compost area, and that needs some work. In there is the trail to the short walk that we have mapped out, and I'd love to take you for a walk now that there's no foliage or snakes. I wanted to get this whole area cleared off. I want to get all the variegated periwinkle out of there because it just takes over. And I did manage to get 2 valerian plants in there, as well as that little tree I brought back from the Modern Homesteading Conference. Those are covered by cloches, the wire cloches, and so they can't be eaten. But I wanted to get all this done. That hasn't gotten done. I wanted to get that dirt into the raised beds, and that hasn't gotten done. I wanted to get all of these leaves mulched, but I haven't had a chance to do all that yet. This whole area from the driveway over to here was seeded. There was no grass because of the shade, and it was seeded with rye, winter rye, and I don't know what happened, and it was covered with hay, and it's just everything is like in little piles everywhere. And my helper Randy said he thought maybe the wild turkeys were just digging it up, trying to find the seeds in there, trying to find the seeds in there. This is my first orchard with my peach trees, and what I'm going to do is prune these back in February so that they're more manageable. And that's the beautiful hibiscus. All of these will break off. I don't know if they're ready to yet, but yeah. Well, they will. And then they'll put out all new stems. And there are the gorgeous blueberries. Just about the only gorgeous thing here. Hey, thanks everybody for taking this little tour with me around the garden, seeing what's left to do, what's been done. And I'm going to be doing a lot of sewing and knitting videos, and I hope you'll join me for those. A look back at my life in the 80s and 90s, which you might find of interest. I've always got stories to go with the patterns and the outfits. So tune in for those. Please share with a friend. Subscribe if you haven't. Scroll down and click all. I have medicinal plants. I have one-pot meals. I have my mother's favorite recipes. There's all kinds of things on my channel. Just take a look through the playlists, of which there are many. Not to mention all the gardening videos. Thank you so much. Subscribe, share, like, and we'll see you in the next video. Hey, one other thing, everybody's saying we're going to have a lot of really cold weather, so please be prepared for that. Have your blankets and your backup energy systems ready, or your support system of people you can go to. Just think about that and don't be caught unawares and cold. And look what happened in North Carolina. I know that had never happened before, but it did happen. And so it caught a lot of people unprepared. So, wiped them out. I mean, I don't know how you can be prepared for that. But do the best you can. God bless. See you next time.